The Ghost in the Machine, State Control of Global Comms. It is 1993. In a high-security office in Switzerland, the veneer of corporate trust shatters. A lone operative, watching a routine data transfer, notices a digital signature that shouldn't exist. A ghost key, embedded deep within the encryption algorithm. How could the world's most trusted security hardware be compromised at its very core? For decades, the world believed its secrets were safe inside Swiss-made boxes, but the truth, once exposed, reveals a betrayal spanning half a century. This betrayal didn't just steal whispers. It read the private policy papers, the military deployment plans, and the diplomatic directives of nearly every nation on Earth. Chapter 1. The Swiss Mask. The illusion begins in the 1950s, immediately following the chaos of the Second World War. While Europe rebuilt, a quiet, calculated operation began, cementing a partnership built on technological deception between the U.S. intelligence community and West German agents. They didn't launch an invasion, they launched a business model. They secretly gained control of Crypto AG, a leading Swiss encryption company, turning neutrality into a Trojan horse. This was not a quick hack, this was institutionalized surveillance, an engineered vulnerability planted at the foundational level of global communication security. The brilliance of the scheme lay in its sheer global reach. Crypto AG devices marketed as impregnable were sold to approximately 120 nations. Imagine the volume. Every critical line of communication, from the presidential palace in Latin America to the defense ministry in the Middle East, ran directly through hardware manufactured and secretly owned by the CIA and NSA. Every sensitive message, every top-secret directive, flowed like water directly into an American listening post. The keys they sold the world were designed to be picked by the manufacturer. The mechanism was devastatingly simple. Deliberately weak or backdoored cryptographic keys were woven into the machinery. While governments trusted the Swiss reputation for discretion, they were unknowingly paying top dollar for the privilege of being spied upon. This operation was a sustained, multi-decade project, a technological monolith of espionage, where the discipline required to maintain that silence was almost as impressive as the engineering itself. Chapter 2. The Digital Echo. This control over infrastructure wasn't just about intercepting calls, it was about controlling the narrative that followed. Long before Edward Snowden revealed the scope of mass digital collection through programs like Echelon and X-Keyscore, the groundwork was laid in hardware. But the ambition never changed: total information awareness. Even as the physical encryption business was being wound down, the tactics evolved. The state learned that if you couldn't break the lock, you could influence the minds speaking across the wire. Reports surfaced detailing the U.S. military's development of software to secretly manipulate social media sites using manufactured personas. The focus shifts from reading the encrypted message to actively crafting the digital environment in which decisions are made. This lineage of control runs deep. There are whispers of earlier programs, alleged operations intended to manipulate domestic news media for propaganda. Programs designed to ensure that the public narrative aligned with the operational goals of the intelligence community. The lesson learned from the Crypto AG success was clear. Controlling the infrastructure of communication is the ultimate geopolitical lever. If you control the secure lines of global governance, you can predict, preempt, and subtly steer the outcomes of trade deals, crises, and international conflicts. The shadow of that compromised Swiss safe stretches directly into today's fractured digital information sphere. Chapter 3. The Whistleblower Sphere. The entire edifice of deception held firm until the early 1990s. The constant pressure of maintaining the lie began to fracture the alliance that supported it. An internal exposure, reportedly originating from a whistleblower within the German intelligence service, the BND, a key partner in the operation, finally forced the issue into the shadows. Suddenly, the system built on mutual trust began to cannibalize itself. The immediate response wasn't exposure, it was segregation. The decades-long operation was surgically divided. The commercial side of Crypto AG was sold off to continue selling the illusion of security, while the core intelligence-gathering apparatus was maintained, a separate, secret entity continuing to exploit the existing network. The betrayal was so deeply institutionalized that even after the facade seemingly cracked, the ability to exploit the world's communications remained operational, simply rebranded and separated. The legacy is terrifying because it demonstrates institutional capacity. We see this structure mirrored in the physical deployment of covert assets, a CIA base operating secretly inside a foreign consulate, masked by diplomatic immunity, facilitating cyber operations across a continent without ever triggering border checks. The ability to hide a massive intelligence operation within the fabric of mundane commerce and diplomacy is the true ghost in the machine. The infrastructure that allowed the CIA to read the private directives of 120 nations has simply been upgraded. The knowledge gap remains. What specific high-stakes geopolitical secrets, secured by those compromised devices, decisively shaped the conflicts and alliances of the late Cold War and beyond? We may never see the full archive, but we know the principle was proven viable. The machine learned how to listen in silence, and its lessons persist, finding new ways to embed themselves in the networks we rely on every second of every day. The question is no longer if they are listening, but what they are convincing us to believe.